All right, guys, we got another one here. Atlanta YN crisis is forcing the city to do this. Let's check this out.
That is a perfect example of the dumb leading the dumb. And I see so many young kids that are outside doing hooligan with their friends because their parents are outside doing hood red with each other.
It's a Saturday and you want to go out to a good event. You want to go out in your city and enjoy the culture, the food, the people, because this festival comes to your city every year. And you know what? You meet new people, you meet new friends, everything is okay. You're vibing, having your favorite drink, and all of a sudden, people are running, people are scattering, people are screaming. And when the dust settles,
Eric, that's right. Good evening. People who were at the park tell me they heard gunshots and immediately started running to safety. Atlanta police confirmed that unfortunately, a 16-year-old girl lost her life.
this is exactly what happened last Saturday at the 404 event in Piedmont Park in Atlanta. A 16-year-old young lady by the name of Tiana Robinson was shot and unfortunately passed away. But this behavior amongst young people is something that is very interesting in Atlanta because this incident is not unrelated. And many people have been complaining about these Atlanta teen takeovers.
They're planning more takeovers. They've taken over the Atlantic Station, taken over the Battery. Somebody has got to stop these kids.
It's not just kids. Apparently, it's adults too. Last weekend, it ended in 17 arrests. 9 teenagers, 8 adults. Police say that more events are being promoted online currently. One at Cumberland Mall this weekend and another at Six Flags over Georgia in 2 weeks.
Who is planning this stuff?
That's
Can
the
you
question,
take his
too.
phone?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's more.
Parents could end up facing charges after a chaotic night involving teens at Atlantic Station. Atlanta police say hundreds of teenagers gathered at the popular shopping and entertainment district over the weekend with no adult supervision for most of them. Fireworks were set off, at least one gunshot was reported, and shoppers ran for cover as police moved in. Officers say what stood out the most was the lack of parents on the scene. Now police are reviewing whether parents should be held responsible under city rules that require minors to be supervised in large public spaces. Now, no serious injuries were reported, but the incident has raised new safety concerns. So
I mean, it's getting crazy, bro. I mean, the culture is definitely responsible for some of this, but at the same time, man, when it all comes down to it, nobody can make any one person do the things that they do, right? You got to be that person and make that decision. You decide to get a gun, you decide to go out here and start, pulling triggers and doing all this crazy stuff. It's getting out of hand. And I mean, quite frankly, I don't go outside. I haven't gone outside like that in a long time. And my kids won't be doing a lot of that. I mean, where we stay is a real quiet, safe spot area. Everything goes down at 9 o'clock. Everybody, the town goes to sleep. And that's just how I like it. Yeah, man, that's just a little too much. And when you got to worry about things like that, and when you want to go out and just do simple things like the mall or, whatever it is, and worry about your life, then it's time to start making some other decisions.
what do you think? Should the parents be held accountable? Let us know.
So these teen takeovers are being organized and they're mostly coordinated informally. So what happens is on a platform like Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, these teams will basically get together and they will forward posts in group chats or private stories. And it also spreads at school, so the word of mouth even helps it get further. And basically they'll come to a mall or to certain places and then attendance can jump from like a few dozen people to like hundreds within hours. It's really not meant for there to be violence, but sometimes things happen. Not only do teenagers get arrested, adults get arrested also. Then the main question comes, where is the supervision of these kids?
He's right,
And whenever things go wrong, people will look for a solution. And now there is one.
We will be strictly enforcing juvenile curfew laws. Parents should be aware those curfew hours are between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
Now, Operation Go Home is this new thing that they're trying to roll out while even threatening to penalize these parents. But that's where the problem starts. You see, a lot of these youth, and we know this is true, a lot of them are coming up under single parent homes. Coming from a single parent home is not always the worst thing in the world, but something is wrong.
Basic things like love, kindness, respect, all of those things we are entitled to. But the extras, your kids feeling like they can get bad grades and they can still have the $1,200 iPhone, they can still have the you're gonna pay for the $500 wig installment, the $900 shoes. You're going above and beyond because you're doing it from a place of lack. I've seen parents working 2 jobs to give their kids the extras, not just the basic necessities. That's okay, but the extras that sometimes these kids don't even understand the concept of earning.
You see, without the father in the house, what can continue to happen is that female parents, single moms, are more likely to reward bad behavior. Like, it was a big difference between my mom in the house and my dad in the house. If I would do something, let's say, for example, in school, not get the best grade, my mom would coddle me. Oh, it's okay. You're going to do better next time. Or my father would just not accept that. My mom would reward certain bad behaviors from me just to keep me happy because, you know what, I was her son. My dad was more quick to discipline me for that same infraction. And I was a much different young man with both of my parents in the house.
Guys, I'm telling you, that is a huge, huge difference. It makes a lot of difference, guys. And that's the problem with a lot of these families. They're not families, right? They're single parent households. And when you don't have that other person in the house, especially the father, especially with the boys, these are things that are going to happen. Okay. If my son gets in trouble at school, you know what he does? He starts crying immediately. He's in the office crying. Okay. Because he knows what's coming. He knows he has to come home, eventually has to come home, and he has to face me, right? You have to walk into the lion's den. And, you know, his mother, of course, is way more lenient. But, you know, and when she threatens him with, you know, punishments and all that, it rolls off the back of his shoulder. He doesn't really care. But if I get wind of it, oh, it's a wrap. And it's supposed to be that way, right? Because when he grows up, he's going to understand. Same thing with chores and things of that nature. I don't let him slip. His mom is more lenient. No, I don't. Okay. Them dishes need to be cleaned. That trash needs to be taken out of that garage and taken to the trash. Like all these things, right? I don't play. And it's not because I don't love him. That it's quite the opposite. It's because I do love him. And I'm trying to instill certain values within him. And he'll understand that when he gets older. And I used to be a kid. I used to think the same thing. What are you talking about? When I'm older, you'll understand. But it makes sense, guys.
It actually worked well together when it wasn't fighting. But that's happening now. So you have these kids who are most likely being rewarded for doing nothing, and they're all coming together, and then problems are coming out of these gatherings. Then there's the elephant in the room, criticizing the parents of these kids. Now, we all know, talking about single moms or black women raising these kids, you're always going to get certain levels of pushback.
When a man is not there, it's not good for the child. But even when a man is there and is inactive, it can be often worse for the child. Or if the child is living in an abusive environment, right? But the idea that a child needs a man and woman to raise it is a European standard.
Bro, I don't know what she's saying right now, but okay, let's continue.
In the global South, in communities that value collectivist culture, a family relationship, you would have multiple generations living in the same house that would all support the child in one way or another.
And this is an example of one of those dumbass excuses that I was talking about. You know, this person was trying to make an excuse of not having a 2-parent home, but the problem is that these kids in Atlanta don't have anybody at home, or at least nobody's looking after them. So these excuses for replacing the father is the reason why you have cities like Memphis, historically Youngstown, Ohio.
Guys, the reason why a lot of this is happening is because, like he just said, there's a lot of parents who aren't even there or don't give a damn about their kids. They just let them do whatever, right? They're a cautionary tale for the most part, right? And these kids are lashing out, a lot of them. My mother doesn't love me. I don't have a father. So they're lashing out. They're going out here and they don't care about themselves because they feel that no one else cares. That's a lot of these kids, guys. And the parents should be, in my opinion, they should be penalized for the actions of their children in certain ways, because this is what you get when you're a poor parent. And some of these, calling them a poor parent is that's being too kind, right? That's being way too kind to some of these pieces of trash out here who should have never had kids to begin with, right? But it is what it is, and something needs to be done. And this is the reason why a lot of this stuff is happening, right? Nobody who has caring parents, whether you have one or two, are going to be going to the lengths that some of these kids are going to and doing some of the stuff they're doing and crashing out the way that they are.
St. Louis, New Orleans, back in the day, Los Angeles, Compton. While these are reasons why these cities were not performing. And then when you criticize it, it's a problem, because now you hate black women. Now you hate the black community. This is one of the things you see even people like Roland Martin doing, which is, if you criticize something that's outright, people will just turn it as if you hate black women, you hate black America, you're tearing down the black community. Sometimes people just get fed up.
Atlanta's a perfect example of the dumb leading the dumb. And I see so many young kids that are outside doing hooligan with their friends because their parents are outside doing hood rat with each other.
I want to shout out to the brother, because what he's saying is correct. There are certain parents, or many parents out there, who are creating these Atlanta new age inmates. And one thing that the black community has to understand, especially these women, is that you love these kids. They are your kids, but they are not anybody else's kids. So when your kids go out there and they make a mistake, they hurt somebody, they kill somebody, they shoot somebody, and then the state gets a hold of them, you cannot help those kids anymore. They're now the property of the states, and there's nothing that they can do, crying or saying I'm sorry, that's going to basically change that. And so many people, especially their kids, you can't tell them anything, which is why a lot of talented blacks, especially in the black American society, leave certain neighborhoods or certain places. It's much different here in Africa. It's a lot of problems here, but disrespectful kids get dealt with by the community. It's completely okay. But in America, oh my God, telling a kid that you shouldn't do this or do that, you put yourself in a danger. Because you know what? Who are you to tell my kid anything? But my mom used to always tell me, son, if you don't listen to me, you're going to listen to somebody. And this is true. You can do what you want until you can't do it no more. Then you end up in prison. And you're going to have to mind somebody there.
Or worse.
Whether it's the prison guards or the prisoners, or you're going to die. But you're going to mind somebody. So it's better that you go ahead and do it now. And so many of the youth don't understand. The parents are messed up. They're broken. They're creating broken kids. Then if you come back and you really criticize it and you really want to have strategies to make it better, then somebody says you're acting white, or you're a raccoon, or you're a sellout. And then you see all of this talent. You see these beautiful young black minds out there who are not really monsters. They're just responding to their ecosystem, but the world is going to look at them as monsters. And so there's nothing really you can do to help anybody who doesn't want to take any level of accountability. So the people that can help give these young kids opportunities that can keep them working or creating jobs, they don't got time. They move away from the Atlanta city into the suburbs. They get away from the city as far as they can to better neighborhoods where they get around, we're going to call it what it is, mixed communities or white communities or high functioning black communities, because they don't want to deal with the problems. Then they get called sellouts when they don't want to come back into the community.
I mean, that's what you have to do, though. That's the reality of it. Like, nobody wants to live in that. And a lot of people think that, a lot of blacks, that's what they want. That's what they want to be. But no. And I think a lot of people also fail to realize, who aren't black, that the majority of black people as a whole are, regular functioning, tax-paying citizens, and just want to be left alone and to their own devices and just live life peacefully and quietly, right? But it's the stereotypes and the things that happen in these inner cities that are always, of course, put on a big poster and pushed to the front. all the time, and that's all they see. So there's a form of prejudice within there. But as Black people and Black parents, we went out of our way to get out of or not be in areas that, you know, do all these things and have this stuff going on, because we want our kids in an environment where they can prosper, where they can grow, where they have a chance. Everything, even down to their names. Okay, I'm not gonna name my kids here, but we don't have any, you know, Lakeishas, we don't have any Laquanjas, all of these crazy names, guys. Because why? And people ask me that sometimes, is because I just want my kids to have a chance. Okay, that's it. You look at an application, you look at somebody, and you can't see a face along with that. I let them at least get their toe in the door before you slam that, right? And that's why, you know, that's my excuse for doing that. And that's what I'm saying. You got everything here. It's a game. This whole thing, this whole world, everything we're doing, guys, it's a game. All right. And you have to learn how to play it. And there's so many of us out here that are living and caught up in the matrix and who are losing every single day. And if you don't learn how to play this game, guys, it's going to be a very, very sad existence for you.
And invest businesses. I had a pretty good story that I'm going to cover. It's in my hometown of Sacramento, in a rival neighborhood in which I grew up, called Oak Park. As you know, I'm from Del Paso Heights, so Oak Park is like the enemy within. It's not really an enemy, but, you know, it was our biggest. And Oak Park is a historic Black community, probably the most popular in the city. Well, maybe second popular to Del Paso Heights. But right now, they're offering businesses tax breaks to come back into Oak Park, which is called now an opportunity zone. I've never heard this framework. But the problem is Oak Park is still largely known as being a dangerous neighborhood. And even though it's an opportunity zone, it's difficult for somebody to want to come back in and serve the Meadowview area, 29th Street Garden Block areas, Del Paso Heights. I don't know about Valley High anymore, but Valley High. You see, even if it's an opportunity zone, the biggest opportunity is not to be over there by that zone in the first place. And that's the reality of it all. You can say what you want to say, but reality is this is what happens when the inmates run prisons, okay? And Democratic liberal talking points have allowed Black people to be unaccountable for their behavior to where nobody can criticize you. And now you're getting the results of this sort of behavior, and now you don't want to deal with it no more. Nah, go ahead and deal with it. This is what y'all have built, okay? This is what the propaganda has created. Now you're dealing with it, and now since people are dying, teens is taking over malls, now it's affecting your shopping, now you're affected by this violence, now it hurts you. Now you see that this strategy does not work anywhere in Black America.
Yeah, man. And that's going to do it. I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, because I drop content every single day on this channel. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video.